Hey, YouTuberverse, Jason Newman here, and I wanted to tell all you guys the meeting Adam Savage story. In March 2026, we went to AwesomeCon in Washington, D.C. I went as Steve Rogers incognito in the mall outfit as seen in Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Uh, Absolutely nobody asked to take a picture of me. I'm Nobody asked to take a picture of me or me with anybody. I truly was Steve Rogers incognito. But I was carrying Sam Wilson's shield, which a handful of people, it caught their attention and they asked about it, which was very nice. A few years back, Adam was in attendance at AwesomeCon and we got the photo op. He was and currently still is the only celebrity that I ever got a photo op with. So at the time, I did not understand how the photo ops are run. And if you don't know, let me enlighten you. Be prepared. The experience is like a Gatling gun with a camera on it. They just photo next. You get out of the way. Next photo. Next photo. Next photo. Next. They just start cranking out the photos. Um, so we did not get the interactive experience that we were expecting, that I had heard from other people having with celebrities, because I didn't understand if you want that experience, you have to go to their booth and talk to them there. So this time around, I wanted to talk to Adam for as long as I was going to be allowed, knowing that my wife, as a early birthday present, got me the autograph and selfie experience, and she tagged on my little sidekick, our daughter. She opted not to include herself because three people with this kind of autograph meet and greet experience, it starts to get pricey. And she knew that we were going to find artwork and other cool doodads that we were going to want to bring home. So that's why she left herself out of the mix. We got to Adam's booth a little bit about midday, just in time for him to head out to his scheduled photo op. It's, I think, like, what is it, like a 10-minute photo op. And after that, the staff said that he was going to have lunch. So we had to wait a little bit, no big deal. While we're waiting, I flagged down the staff member who works for AwesomeCon, and I asked him if it would be all right if I record the interaction. And he kind of thinks for a second and then says, well, that would be an additional charge. And I don't remember seeing that on the option sheet. So I said, well, how much is it? And he goes, well, that'll be a selfie. We paid for the selfie, so we're golden. And he says, yeah, then it's no problem. Just make sure when you get to the front, you let them know before you do it. Okay, no problem. So just then he looks over and he sees my wife approaching and he starts screaming, no, no, waving his arms, saying, absolutely not, no way. Because from his perspective, he just saw this rando bypassing the line heading for Gillian Anderson, who is right next to Adam's booth. And he thought she was trying to run up and sneak pictures. So what she was doing was she found a piece of art that she wanted to show me on her phone. And the Wi-Fi wasn't really working for us, and the cell service was just laughable. So she had to show up to me. We explained all this to him, and everything was fine. But it put her on the staff's radar. Adam returns from lunch, and things resume. And I'm having fun looking at the line, looking at the people, what they have to sign. Some people have HasLab ghost traps, which I also have. I see a couple of MythBusters merch. There's a guy very close to us who created a 1-to-1 scale R2 unit painted black. I thought it was 3D printed, but it was all aluminum. I'm having fun talking to him about that. Great. And as we're snaking our way through the line, my daughter keeps wanting me to be in front of her because she knows what a fan I am. And she also knows that when we get to meet him, much like watching Bruce Banner turn into the Hulk, she's about to watch her dad turn into a squealing fanboy. So very sweetly, she keeps trying to move me to be in the front of the line. And I keep moving her to be in front of me. And we start having an exchange. And I told her, my principles are such that there is no way I'm going to step over my daughter to get to a celebrity. I don't care who it is. That explanation didn't work. She still wants me to go in front. So I end up saying, She's up to about here on me. So I say, you have to go in front of me, because if I'm standing in front of you, when you talk, I will block your sound waves. If you're in front of me, we can both talk and both of our sound waves can reach Adam and everything will be fine. This is complete BS, because you don't stand one in front of the other when meeting a celebrity. You stand side by side, but the explanation worked, and now she agrees to go in front of me. Great. So now we finally get to the front of the line. And by the front of the line, I mean there's this long table, and you kind of sidestep several handlers before you finally get to the celebrity. If this being my first celebrity meet and greet, I don't know if that's standard practice. I assume that it is. The first person that we encounter is the person who works for the convention that I mentioned earlier. And he checks us in, and he can see that we do, in fact, have the autograph selfie experience. And he checks in my daughter first, hands her a piece of paper with boxes checked that will eventually let Adam know what level experience we have purchased. And on the table in front of him is something like 10 photo prints. I guess in case you got an autograph but you don't know what to have him sign, you can pick one of these. My daughter picks hers and moves on a little bit. Now it's my turn. I ended up not selecting one of the photos because I told the staff member that I'm not really there to get an autograph. Side quest. You might be wondering, well, if you don't want an autograph, why did you pay for the autograph experience? And the reason is because leading up to the convention, when I was doing research, I found that you get the most amount of time with a celebrity if you get the autograph and selfie combo. That will give you the most amount of time with the celebrity, which is the thing that I wanted the most of anyway. Side quest. I don't really care for autographs. Other people do, and that's fine. But for me, I don't. I feel like they started out as something that people would get as proof that they met the celebrity. Now with our phones and selfies, I don't really see the need for an autograph. I know that they do have some value to them, so you can flip whatever the item is on eBay. Great. I'm not going to be doing that. So I have met a few celebrities over the years, and when I was younger, I did ask them for their autographs, but it was mostly because I felt it was something that I was expected of me to do. And afterwards, I didn't know what to do with the autograph. I just kind of, I either lost it or discarded it or something. I don't know what to do with these things after I meet the person. Side quest. One thing that doesn't compute for me is when people make a piece of art and they have the celebrity sign their art. If I make a piece of art, I'm signing it. I'm the only one signing it. It's fine if other people do it. I just don't understand it. Maybe you can explain it to me. But the last thing that I would have had him sign, if I had him sign anything at all, would be the shield that I made. All right, back to our regular story. So I told a abbreviated version of this to the staff member, and the staff member is kind of not really understanding. He's confused. And I say, listen, I don't know what I would do with the autograph. What I really want is the autograph time with Adam. And he kind of looks and says, Adam spends a lot of time with the fans. And that's true. He has that reputation. If you're going to meet a celebrity, he has the reputation of being amongst one of the most generous with his time. But it was weird that he said it as if I had insulted his friend and he was defending him. So he gives me my piece of paper with the box checked on it, and we sidestep. Now we come to handler number 2, who is a very nice lady whose name I got, but I don't remember because I'm terrible with names. But this is who I presume is Adam's assistant. She said in our interaction that she's been working with Adam for 20 years. A really nice lady. And we start to explain. We give her our pieces of paper with the boxes checked on it. And she sees that we have the autograph selfie experience, and she looks at what we're holding in our hands, and she does some quick math, and she realizes I do not have a photo. So she points out the photos, and I say to her, I don't care about, I'm not getting a photo. I don't want the autograph. And understandably confused, she says, well, it's you paid for it. And I say, yeah, I know. And I all the same stuff that I told the staff member, I'm saying to her. Only now such a big deal is being made of it. my daughter starts tag teaming, and they start saying, well, you can have your hat signed, you can get a piece of your jacket signed, you can personalize it to another person. And that, okay, hey, if you gave me an autograph as a gift, I wouldn't know what to do with it. I just want to talk to the guy. um, to change the topic, I have my phone and I say, excuse me, is it all right if I record the interaction? And she says, she thanks me very much for asking before just deciding I'm going to do it. And she says, thank you, but she politely says, no, thank you, because recording the interaction makes things uncomfortable. Or she might have said awkward, but no big deal. I actually kind of expected them to politely decline. So we start to kind of sidestep a little bit, and now we are next in line to meet Adam. And at that moment, my daughter turns to me and says, I think I'm going to tell Adam the story about how my friend was on MythBusters. Side quest. Uh, my daughter's friend is the child of my wife's friend. The two of them have known each other for at least 5, maybe 6 years. My daughter knows what a fan of Adam I am. She has literally never once mentioned this to me. And just at that moment, it's our turn to meet Adam Savage. So back to our regular story. For the convention, our daughter wanted to go as her favorite Pokemon character, Mewtwo. So she went dressed in her Mewtwo, one of those onesies, and she painted her face bright lavender. Okay, it's a choice. So approaching, the first thing Adam sees is my bright lavender pink daughter, and he says, hey, Pink, you look great. Like, you have to love this man's energy. After that, my memory is a little bit of a blur. I say, Adam, I don't have anything for you to sign. I just wanted to show you what I made. Adam looks at the shield and he does a literal double take and he goes, you made this? And I said, yes, I made the whole thing. I did everything except the one and only thing that I can't do is the actual disc. I don't have a metal spinning lathe. That's the one thing I had to outsource. And what I wanted to do was go into saying, but I cut these notches out by hand. I engraved the star by hand. I with little needle files and scribers and cutting oil and all kinds of stuff that I learned from your YouTube channel. I cut these notches, these things in the middle out, and I put new grooves in. And instead, all that came out was I said, this is my Hellboy Samaritan. And there's a briefest of pauses from Adam, and then he kind of gives me a look like a light bulb goes off, as if to say, like, I know what that means. So we're talking about it, and Adam picks it up. Adam picks up my shield. He picks up my shield that I made, and he shows it to his assistant, and he says, we got to get a picture of this. And I'm just ecstatic that he's holding my shield. He brings the shield back and he sets it down face up, and now we're looking at the back of the shield. And he's ever the curious maker. He starts going, well, how did you make this? Is this welded? And we didn't get to go into a lot of the detail about stuff. I mean, for all I know, he didn't realize that this is not metal. And I said, well, no, I didn't weld anything because aluminum doesn't like to be welded to very much. So these screws are all screwed into T-nuts that are affixed to the shell, to the disc underneath. And then I started to try to go into how this is a resin foam mix and yada yada. But from her vantage point, my wife sees what looks like I'm getting ready to ask him to sign the inside of the shield. And knowing how odd that would have been if I had asked, she goes, are you going to have him sign your shield? And then I was like, no, I'm not at all. So we didn't get to talk about this as much. I mean, I could spend 3 hours talking about this thing. And we don't have the time. It is a brief interaction. My daughter starts to tell Adam about the story about her friend being on MythBusters. And you can see Adam has no idea what she's talking about. He is listening to her, but he's not tracking what she's saying. It's a myth that somehow involves a bed of nails and a watermelon, and Adam kind of looks to me as if like to say, "Do you have any input for that to contextualize this?" And I said, "Adam, I learned about this for the first time standing right over there. We are together hearing about this for the first time," and that got him a chuckle. And he kind of just says, "You know what? This feels like it would have been a myth that Carrie, Tori, and Grant may have worked on." And he says that as he's signing her autograph. It's selfie time. Adam comes around from the table and shakes my hand, and he says, as he shakes it, he says, "Just keep doing what you're doing." And I don't know if he means with uh, making replicas or if he means with my daughter or both, but I will take it however he meant it. I had heard that it's always best to just give Adam your phone because he is so seasoned at this point. He knows how to get the composition right. He can change the settings real quick. And I give him my phone. He quick flips the camera and proceeds to take 9 selfies closer and closer and closer to my daughter's face because him and my daughter are cut from the same cloth, 2 hams. Selfie's done. We think we're getting ready to start wrapping it up. My wife hollers from the sidelines, "Thank you, Mr. Savage, for all the joy you bring to my family." It's very sweet of her to say. And I just say, "Hey, if there's one more thing I could show you real quick," I tell him that I wanted to make this cosplay friendly. So I say, "You have to imagine this is much more impressive if I'm all suited up." And then I take the shield and I slam it to my back, and it stays just like the movies. And Adam sees this delighted, and he says, "Are you wearing a magnet?" And I showed him under my hoodie the straps of the posture brace. So that got a chuckle out of him, and he said, "That's very cool. They're very cool." Then we're clearly done. The whole time we're doing all of this, though, his very nice assistant is talking about getting a selfie with her. And I assumed that maybe Adam loves children and they want to do a selfie with just him and my daughter, possibly, since they're there. Um, no, it turns out they're waving in my wife. They brought her over, so now I have a selfie with all 4 of us. It's super generous of them. I told them as much. I commented on how they didn't have to do that and how sweet it was and thank you. And I don't want to take up any more of their time. So then I proceeded to tell another anecdote. Back a few years ago when we were doing the photo op, I just kept talking to Adam while the pictures were being taken. And if you would not have been in the wrong to imagine a big cane to come out and grab me by the neck and pull me out of there. And the fact that I am telling him this anecdote after getting extra time and on my way out, the irony is not lost on me. And that's the end of the Meeting Adam Savage story until about midnight later on. And before we leave, I say, if I could just show you one more thing. And in front of Adam, I have a bug in front of my face